Hello, fellow traders. 'Tis I, the Rumpled One, coming to you on Friday, June the 10th. The year's 2022. Let's talk trading. Weekly wrap up. As always, these videos are for educational purposes only. Your results may differ from mine. So, taking a look at the weekly chart, we can first see that all the gaps have filled, the weekly open gaps. We are, for the pound, we are 153 pips below the weekly open. We're 7 pips off the weekly low and 264 off the weekly high. And just a note, we did take out the weekly pivot this week. Today, what an interesting day. We broke out of the opening range for the week at 24.76 to the downside. Then we broke out of the opening range for the month at 24.58. So, did any traders take those trades? Because they were definitely money makers, big pip makers. Also note, we crossed below the weekly open at 24.88. So there's 3 horizontal lines. Had you taken the trades and had you taken them all 3 and stacked on, you'd be looking at a huge profit. For the year, we are 1,189 pips below the yearly open and 182 off the yearly low. Inside bar that happened 2 days ago. Once again, there was an opportunity to go short today at 25.12, and that would have proven profitable. Once again, inside bar, simple horizontal trade. The range, there's more pairs over 100 pips than there are under, with the pound at 189 pips. Huge day. The daily open, weekly open, they were close together, separated by about, what, 5, maybe 6 pips at the most. Opportunities, 1 long trigger, or maybe there's a possible 2 long triggers. Could have taken profit, and then the short triggers definitely paid off. There was news. It was interesting. It was supposed to be, I guess, some was good for the US dollar, some was bad, and it looks like the good outweighed the bad. Green rats, get ready. There's only about 4 hours or so left in the trading day, maybe 5. And interesting, we've got the green rat zone here. At 23.40, so right there at the launch pad. Now, one thing I talk about the launch pad a lot, but when price goes down to the launch pad, it doesn't necessarily launch upward. It's when it comes up to the launch pad. So you can see here, where was it? Actually, there really wasn't one today, because each time we came down to the 24.40 area, now 23.40 area. Okay, Bambino flex indicator indicated the short. We hit the pivot, broke the pivot, and then you could see we're about 179 pips below the pivot. So there was yesterday's low. There was S1. So Bambino Flex said we should probably break the yesterday's low, which it did big time. Right now we're 154 pips below it. Pivots, as I mentioned earlier, we took out the daily, we've taken out the weekly, and we took out the monthly at 124.74. So you see we've got 3 missed pivots here. Monthlies, the last 3 months, May, April, and March. The wick zone, in and out of that lower wick zone. You can see the weekly open was inside that lower wick zone. Range, out of the last 5 weeks, we're at 271, which is the biggest. We're above the ATR. High minus previous high. Didn't break it, but the low, previous low minus low, 129 pips, breaking out of that weekly, previous week's low. High to close, 268. Close is a low right now, 2 pips. So those were this are the rats. Now the buy zone traders, high to open 111, open to low 160 at the moment. So those trades were profitable. Once again, simple horizontal line trades. You just have to manage the trade. And we've talked about psychology and money management and trade management. You just have to, take those trades when they appear. Price action simple. Notice here we just had a bunch of red on the hourly, just down, down, down. We had a 67 pip, a 51, a 38, currently at 17 pips on the range. Walmart lines just giving it up if you look at the hourly here. Once again, simple horizontal line trades, taking a trade at the line, even though rather than H1, I've been switching over to H30 because like you can see right here, there are reversals. Lower high, higher low, you can see what's been happening. We had a nice trigger there, touched it and fell back down. And that was in the launch pad. We're making new lows as I speak. The range is increasing. We've got a long trigger lowest high right now at 31, which will probably change when this M1 closes. Don't know how low this is going to go. We look at the week. You can see this might want to go down to the 2300. I remember when it was at 24.25, Walmart and I were trading, and let's see, where was that? 24. And actually, I think it bounced right here. Let's see, where's 25? Yeah, it bounced and went up. Psychological 25 line. Let's take a look at the range. 288 so far. So it looks like there's more. Only one has been less than 288. That was back in 2019. So it looks like we should at least look for 400 to 600 pips, possibly, maybe 500, but another 100 and so pips. We'll just have to wait and see what happens. And if we take a look at the year-to-date accumulated range, you can see here we haven't broken out of the yearly high or low, so the range has stayed the same. close minus open, 281 pips below the open. And it seems like it's a toss-up. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, it looks like it's June's over the last 20 years has been green more than red. So maybe it'll make up those 281 pips. We'll just have to wait and see. But as you can see, this year has definitely been a red year. May was up, but then June turned right around and took it back and then some. And just looking at some of the trade possibilities here, you can see where price is way below the moving average here, the 5 EMA. We're just bouncing off that low inside the lower wick zone on the monthly right here. Weekly distance to MA 145. It's just below the open, above the low, below the lower wick zone on the weekly. Seller strong control. I guess you can, that's probably putting it mildly. So, fellow traders, Walmart and I think we had some good discussions this week. A few of you chimed in. I appreciate the replies. One of the things we're going to be looking at, I think, next week, and I kind of mentioned it yesterday in the video with Walmart, about trading like you drive, where you can do it and do other things like talk or listen to music, but you're driving successfully, you're not having accidents. And trading, I'm really thinking, should be a skill that you develop just like driving. And we're going to figure out maybe ways to do that, because when you drive, you just drive. You don't really talk to yourself much when you're driving. Maybe if you're in territory going to a new place and you start to wonder, should I take this turn? Like if you're not using a GPS, it's unfamiliar territory, but most of the time you negotiate it without accident. So we're just trying to figure out what we have to do with trading, because one of the things I noticed, in fact, when I woke up a little early today, I called Walmart and he said he was done trading for the day, but he'll blame me for taking more trades. But I had, I said, well, price is probably going to do this, and then he'll probably do that, and it was like I was, it happened just the way I called it. But being half asleep, like I said, I didn't have that prefrontal cortex to interfere where I could just see. And I'm just starting to think that, when I'm fully awake, I can talk myself into trades. Or into taking a trade, I can talk myself out of taking a trade, as opposed to just trading, just doing it. So definitely want to explore that in some of the upcoming videos. So, fellow traders, I really hope you had a profitable week and a profitable month so far in June. We're closing out the first full trading week, and we've got 2 full trading weeks and then 4 days the last week of June. So that's 14 trading days left. I hope you have a fun and safe weekend. And when you come back to your trading platform, always remember and never forget, it's not what you trade, it's how you trade it. So go out there and drain the banks. This is TheRumpledOne, over and out.